Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we're visiting the beautiful Christchurch Priory, one of England's finest parish churches and a landmark that has stood at the heart of Christchurch for centuries. As we begin our walk around the grounds, you can immediately appreciate the scale and character of this remarkable building. Parts of the priory date back to the Norman period, and for nearly 1,000 years this site has been a place of worship, community and local history. The church occupies a prominent position overlooking the town, and is surrounded by peaceful grounds that provide wonderful views of the architecture. From here, it's easy to admire the impressive stonework, the large windows, and the tower that has become such a familiar feature of the Christchurch skyline. Throughout this visit, we'll take a closer look at both the exterior and interior of the priory, exploring some of its fascinating history and notable features along the way. Whether you're interested in history, architecture, places of worship, or simply enjoy visiting beautiful locations, I hope you'll enjoy joining me on this tour. So let's continue our walk around the grounds and take a closer look at this magnificent historic church. Take a moment to look up at the impressive medieval tower. It has stood here for centuries and remains one of the most recognizable landmarks in Christchurch, rising above the town and visible from many directions. The tower forms a key part of the priory's long history, reflecting generations of construction, repair and preservation. Inside, it still houses a ring of bells that are rung for services, celebrations and special occasions, continuing a tradition that has been part of community life here for hundreds of years. When they sound, they carry across the town just as they would have done in the past. As we walk around the grounds, take in the full scale of this remarkable building. From the outside, you can really appreciate how the priory is set within its surroundings, sitting prominently within Christchurch and forming a focal point for the area for nearly 1,000 years. The mix of stonework, windows and architectural detail reflects just how long this building has been in use and how it has developed over time. One of the most striking features is how the building seems to change depending on your viewpoint. From one angle it feels long and low, stretching across the landscape, and from another it rises more dramatically, with the tower becoming the dominant feature against the sky. The large windows along the exterior hint at the scale of the interior space, allowing light to flood into what is a vast and open church inside. Even from outside you get a sense of the height and openness within. This is also a place that continues to be part of daily life, not just a historic monument. The priory is still active today, used for worship and community gatherings, which gives it a living connection to the present as well as the past. As we walk around, you can really see why it has remained such an important landmark in Christchurch for so many centuries. As we move towards the churchyard, you'll notice the atmosphere begins to change slightly. This is a place of quiet reflection, where generations of local people have been laid to rest over many centuries. The gravestones and memorials tell a quiet but powerful story of the town's history, marking lives that were once part of this same community. Churchyards like this are an important part of England's historic churches, often surrounding the building and showing just how long it has been at the centre of local life. As we walk through, you'll see how the stones vary in age and style, from older, weathered memorials to more recent ones, each one representing a personal story. It's a peaceful space, and one that adds another layer of history and meaning to the priory and its surroundings. As we step inside, we now find ourselves in the main nave of the Priory, walking up the central aisle. The atmosphere changes immediately, from the open churchyard outside to a quiet, spacious interior filled with light and history. The scale of the building becomes much clearer from within, with the high arches and long stone columns drawing your eye forward through the length of the church. This central space has been used for centuries as the main area of worship, and it still forms the heart of the Priory today. As you walk through, you get a real sense of height and openness, with the architecture designed to lift your gaze upwards. Light filters in through the windows along the sides, softening the stonework and adding to the sense of calm inside. Every step echoes slightly, reminding you of the age and solidity of the building around you. Walking through here, it's easy to see why places like this have stood for so long as centers of community, worship and reflection. Looking up at the stained glass windows, you can really see how they transform the light inside the Priory. These windows tell stories through color and imagery, with many of them depicting biblical scenes, saints, and moments of Christian history. They were designed not only to decorate the building, but also to teach and inspire, especially at a time when many people would not have been able to read. The way the sunlight passes through the glass brings the scenes to life, changing throughout the day as the light shifts. It adds a quiet sense of movement and atmosphere to what is otherwise a very still and solid space. Some of the windows are more modern, while others reflect much earlier craftsmanship, showing how the Priory has continued to evolve over time while still preserving its heritage. Standing here, it's easy to see why stained glass has always played such an important role in places like this, combining art, faith, and history in a way that feels timeless. As we walk around the back of the nave of Christchurch Priory, you notice that this part of the Priory feels quieter. It is somewhere you can take in more of the structure and detail without the main entrance directly ahead. It's also a good reminder of how these great churches were designed not just for appearance, but for movement and gathering, guiding people through the building in a very deliberate way. As we continue around, the light shifts across the stonework, highlighting just how much craftsmanship went into every part of the design, even in the areas that are less immediately seen. This section really adds to the sense of depth and scale inside the Priory. This text tells the story of the miraculous beam. Let me tell you the story as we continue to explore. As the Priory was being built in the medieval period, the construction of the roof over this vast space presented a serious challenge. One of the main supporting beams was thought to be too weak to safely carry the weight of the roof. and concern grew among those responsible for the work. During this time, a carpenter appeared and offered his help. He worked on the beam, giving instruction and assisting in its placement. Once completed, the structure held firm and proved to be completely secure. It was only afterwards that those involved came to believe that the carpenter had in fact been Christ himself, appearing in human form during the building of the church. The priory had originally been a Saxon minster dedicated to the Holy Trinity, but following this event its identity became associated with Christ. From that moment it became known as Christchurch, named in reference to the carpenter. Over time, the settlement that grew around the priory also took the same name, becoming Christchurch, the name it still carries today. This story remains one of the defining traditions of the priory, closely tied to both the building itself and the identity of the town that developed around it. We are now in the Lady Chapel of Christchurch Priory, one of the most peaceful and significant parts of the building. This space is dedicated to the Virgin Mary, and is used for smaller, more private services and moments of prayer. Compared to the main nave, it feels more intimate and enclosed, designed for reflection rather than large gatherings. As we walk around from the Lady Chapel of Christchurch Priory, you may notice the burial stones set into the floor beneath our feet. These stones mark the resting places of individuals who were connected to the priory and the surrounding community over many centuries. Rather than being in a separate churchyard, many of the older burials are within the church itself, which reflects just how important this building has been throughout local history. Each stone represents a life once lived here in Christchurch, and together they form a quiet record of generations who worshipped, worked, and lived around the priory. St. Stephen's Chapel is one of the quieter side chapels within the priory. It provides a more intimate space compared to the main nave, traditionally used for smaller services and personal prayer. Even today, it continues to be used for worship, maintaining that sense of continuity between past and present. Although smaller in scale, it still carries the same character and craftsmanship found throughout the rest of the building, with a calm and reflective atmosphere that feels slightly separate from the main body of the church. It's one of those spaces that highlights how the priory has always served different purposes at the same time, both as a large community church and as a place for quieter devotion. We've now come into the choir area of the priory, where you can see the rows of seated stalls along either side. This is the part of the church traditionally used by the choir and clergy during services, with the seating arranged facing inwards towards the center. It creates a very ordered and structured space, quite different from the openness of the nave. Spaces like this are designed for choral worship, where the focus is on music, readings, and liturgy. The arrangement also helps the sound carry throughout the building, which is especially important in a large church like this. It has a similar layout to other historic royal and ecclesiastical chapels, where the seating along the sides forms a very distinctive and formal setting for worship. Here we can see a sealed and locked area within the priory associated with John Cook Esquire, who died in 1787, aged 56. This appears to be a family burial vault or enclosed memorial space, something that was quite common for local landowners and prominent families in the 18th century. Rather than being buried in the churchyard, families of status were often interred within the church itself, close to the main building and its sacred spaces. These vaults were later sealed, which is why we can only view this area through the doorway today. It's another example of how Christchurch Priory contains not just architectural history, but also the layered stories of the people who lived in and around the town. The Chidiock tomb chest in Christchurch Priory is one of the most important medieval monuments inside the church, and it's actually one of the finest surviving examples of its type in England. It is the tomb of Sir John Chidiock and his wife Lady Catherine Lumley, dating from the 15th century, around 1461. The Chidiock family were a significant medieval Dorset gentry family with strong ties to land ownership and influence in the region. The monument itself is a stone chest tomb with alabaster effigies, showing the couple recumbent on top in traditional medieval style. Around the sides, the tomb is decorated with carved panels and figures, which would originally have been brightly painted and far more vivid than what we see today. Sir John Chidiock was associated with local authority and service in Dorset, and the family were closely connected to estates such as Chidiock Castle in West Dorset. Their burial inside the priory reflects both their status and their importance in the region during the medieval period. Over the centuries, the tomb has been damaged and restored, but it remains one of the most striking medieval memorials in the priory, giving a strong sense of the scale, craftsmanship, and importance of the church during that time. As our visit to Christchurch Priory draws to a close, we make our way back through the churchyard and towards the gates. Over the course of our walk, we've explored a building that has stood at the heart of Christchurch for centuries. We've seen its impressive medieval architecture, walked through the nave and chapels, admired the stained glass windows, and discovered some of the stories and traditions that are woven into its history. We've learned about the legend of the Miraculous beam, and how it became connected to the name of the church, and ultimately, the town itself. We've passed ancient memorials and burial stones, and explored spaces that continue to be used for worship and reflection today. Now, as we walk through the churchyard, we're surrounded by generations of history, The gravestones and memorials here represent the lives of local people who lived, worked, and worshipped in this town over hundreds of years, forming a lasting connection between the priory and the community it has served. What makes Christchurch Priory so special is that it is not just a historic building, but a living church, still active today, while also preserving centuries of heritage within its walls. We hope you've enjoyed joining us on this walk through Christchurch Priory. If you have, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more walks, history, and explorations like this. We'd also love to hear your thoughts or memories in the comments below. Thank you for walking with us today. Until next time, thanks for watching.